That's great, Hal.
Budget breaks. Breaks starting at just $100.
A few weeks ago, we brought you a full hour of 3+U on aging. We called it Aging Well, and the Morning Pointe senior living community was very much a part of that hour as we focused quite a bit on memory loss and the walk that comes with it. So we're very happy this morning to have two members of that team back on the show. They are with the Lantern at Morning Pointe, representing their newest location right now. So we've got Nicole Giroir on this side of me and Abby Medley next to me on the sofa. Good to see you both.
Good to see you.
And congratulations on opening this new facility.
We're excited.
Brand new. In fact, you're just taking reservations now. You won't open for a few more weeks still to go.
Right. So the hope is that we open at the beginning of April, but we're still taking reservations right now. We're doing tours so they can come in and we can do a Dusty Boots tour, which is
that's a cute name.
Go through the building where it's not all finished, so it's dusty. But then we can also take them into our building right across the street from it, which is our AL building, our assisted living building, to tour as well, so they can get a feel.
I love the fact that both of you begin to smile kind of right away when you talk about this, because the families coming through your door probably aren't so much. It's a worrisome time. But there are things that can be done, and there is knowledge to share, and I think that's got to be meaningful for you.
Yeah, so we focus on providing a meaningful day every day with our programming, and a lot of times when families come through our door, it can be a crisis mode for them, and so we're able to walk them through resources, we're able to walk them through options, and we're able to walk them through even supportive interactions with their loved one who has gotten a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's.
And I might be wrong. I told you we'll just talk and you can correct me on the air, but I think I know enough to say that you can even help with that if they're not ready yet to come to live with you.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and at Morning Pointe, we really want to be a resource. Yes, we take care of our residents and we love doing that, but we want to be a resource to the community too. So we partner with our Morning Pointe Foundation as well. So we have events that it is all about educating the public at large on what is Alzheimer's, what's dementia, how do we handle this, how do we walk through this, this whole process, because it's difficult. It is truly difficult, and you don't really understand it until you're hit with it and you have to deal with it yourself.
So one of the things that I know you'll also work through with people is finding resources for them. Nicole, y'all are both pretty quick to say, we will help you, because it can be financially straining for people, and you try to find help where you can.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's multiple things out there. When people come to us, they have lots of questions, and we have lots of partnerships within the industry as well as in the community, such as elder attorneys, financial planners, if they have to walk through certain things with their finances, if they have to sell a house, like what that looks like for them, and kind of walking them through the process of that. There are veterans benefits that might be supportive of that. Long-term care insurance, we can kind of walk them through that process as well too.
So back to your Dusty Boots tour. Is the living at the Lantern going to be the same for everyone who is there? Because it's important to be protected, right, when you're in that environment?
Right. So the wonderful thing about this community is that it has two areas. So we have what we call our lamp light area, which is, we'll have about 38 apartments in that area, but that is more for our residents that I like to say are pleasantly confused. So it's more that beginning to middle stage of dementia, where they might have the same conversation a couple times, or that they might stand up to go get something and
forget where they were going.
What I was doing. But then we also have our Lantern section, which is more for those residents that are more of that end stage, the late stage of dementia.
You know, everyone's case is going to be different. Certainly it's going to be different. So I imagine you get to know the families of your residents quite well too. But that decision to kind of come on in and let their loved one live with you probably doesn't come easy. And kind of learning when it's time. Do y'all walk that walk with people?
Absolutely, and it's also joining the family on the journey with their loved one who has the dementia or Alzheimer. They have to make the decision when they're ready, but we also enlighten them that when someone comes to us, it's not about, oh my goodness, mom or dad is going away, but we're providing a sense of stability and independence also for that person who's had that diagnosis. Because in all honesty, we take care of people, not diagnoses. We take care of the person holistically. Their emotional, their spiritual, physical, mental. We wanted to adhere to all of those attributes of the person, and it's not just the diagnoses.
Well, and so maybe I'm right in this, if they're living at home with you, but they're beginning to be maybe at risk for some things, you are having to always say, no, don't do that.
Yes.
At the Lantern, it's all ready for them to go, so
Yep.
there are fewer restrictions.
Yes, and then they can become the kid again.
Yes.
They can be the daughter, the son again, instead of having to be that caregiver. And then,
Yes.
and it gives them a family back. It gives them their life back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that neither one of you is on the medical side of things, but we'll talk in conversation and we'll mention Alzheimer's and then we'll say dementia. There are multiple types of dementia. Alzheimer's is just one. Are the early signs kind of the same for all? And is it necessary really to have a diagnosis?
So yes, we have to have a diagnosis to be able to move into our community.
Okay.
So we have to have a medical professional that says, yes, this person is. And a lot of times those diagnoses come from the symptoms, right, of what's happening around them. And I'll be honest, a lot of times the person who has been diagnosed with dementia, especially the early stages, they feel different. They know something is just not right. They have sometimes inability to kind of follow the conversations, the forgetfulness, going to a place that's always been familiar and not being familiar to them. It's not just about walking in, because I do this often. Walk in the room. Why am I here? Was I coming for my keys? Was I coming for something
Right.
else? It's not just that piece of it. It's a little bit more. But yes, I mean, a medical professional can walk through with a family, talk about the symptoms they're experiencing, and give that.
Well, let me show you how you can get in touch with them, because it's the newest location, but that same standard that we all know is so excellent. The Lantern at Morning Pointe, they are taking reservations. It's East Brainerd, but it's going to be that Ottawa address behind the Publix.
It's right behind the Publix.
We all know where that is, morningpointe.com, and there's their phone number, 454-2685. Thanks.
Thank
you.
At Local 3 News, our goal every day is to give you accurate local information. We're proud to have been chosen the best morning newscast, best evening newscast, and best sports coverage, and the best of the best news. We're honored you trust us to cover the stories that affect your community, your life.